I ate bread in Italy, and here's what happened. My belly looks like a hard little basketball. And I want to share this story, which is all fine. And it could have been a lot worse. Because you hear a lot of people say, oh, when you're over in Europe, it is true. The food is so clean. Um, and I feel amazing. And I'm still sensitive to grain and glutens, no matter where I am and no matter how clean they are. So I should add, I haven't had bread in or pasta or anything like that in well over 10 years. Yes, I've tried some of the pasta alternatives, the higher protein things, the lentil pastas. To me, they feel very heavy. I don't care. I don't miss pasta. Sometimes I used to share more recipes with stuff like that for people that maybe do. Um, I don't eat grains and I don't feel like I'm missing anything. And I haven't for a long time. And again, I've done like the cottage cheese flatbread, which doesn't really seem like bread, but it is delicious. But tried also some bread alternative recipes, mostly to share with other people. Certainly not because I miss bread or I need a sandwich or a bun or anything like that. I just don't care. Um, it feels so good to feel so good. So when I went to Italy, I knew I'd have some limoncello spritzes, and let me tell you, they're amazing. I knew I'd be indulging in all of the burrata, prosciutto, the fresh fruit, the melon was fabulous. So much good stuff. I knew I wouldn't be eating pasta. I just don't care. And I really hadn't given bread any thought. Our first night at dinner after a very long day of travel, which was all good. So we'd flown overnight from Philly to Rome. And then, and on the plane for breakfast, I had like yogurt and a grain-free granola that they gave us that was amazing. And I forget what else. Like again, just eating the way I eat. Had some amazing fruit in Rome, and iced coffee. I forget what else. When we have dinner in Positano, ordered, I'm trying to remember what that night was. I believe there's some burrata involved, maybe some seafood. And they brought bread to the table as they do. And of course, it's this lovely rustic looking bread. And there's every time you sit down to a meal anywhere, they bring you fabulous olive oil and balsamic vinegar. And I hadn't even been thinking, oh, I really want to try bread in Italy, but I just thought, oh, I should try this. And I didn't have a lot. It was a piece, you could have fit it in the palm of my hand, dipped in the olive oil. And yes, it was delicious. I wasn't thinking, oh, I missed this at all. I was just like, wow, that was really good. And I really didn't think anything else of it. The next day, we're getting up, we're getting dressed to go to Capri. Can't wait. So excited. And I commented to my daughter that I could see a puffiness around my eyes. And this is something that I'm very aware of, and something that I would tell you that the more you clean up and get rid of the processed crap from your diet and all the things that can be inflammatory, which in my case is grains, but processed stuff in general, your face changes. And, I say like I became prettier. So I noticed, and it's still there a little bit, but that day it was more visible. Just a subtle inflammation around my eyes. It's like you can't see my eyelids. Um, and now, nobody else would have noticed unless they're, but so I just pointed it out. And I was wearing a loose, flowy, very capri dress, just threw my clothes on. There's no full length mirrors. Um, Headed off to Capri. We had the most fabulous day. From the bread, never had any digestive distress. I will say a little loose, but um, loose bowels, but that to me happens sometimes when I travel, and I always make sure I take kind of extra magnesium, and I just attribute it to magnesium. Um, it wasn't until out in Capri, the full day, like 9 hours, walked everywhere, it was fabulous. Come home, shower to get dressed for dinner. And I happened to just catch a better glimpse of myself in the bathroom mirror where I'm a little far away. And I realized I looked 4 months pregnant. It actually worse than that because my belly was protruding and round. It looked like I had a little basketball. It was hard, not as bad as like pregnant, but, and it was hard. It was like, touch this. Like I was saying to my daughter, look at this. And, I just thought, okay, that's my own. I was like, this must be from the bread. And I didn't let it bother me, which is interesting to me. as the girl who loves showing off her abs in a bikini that I just was like, okay. Um, and by the next morning, as we were getting ready, well, as we were just getting ready to walk around, we were spending the morning in Positano and then later going out on a boat where I would be wearing a bikini, I could see that the inflammation had gone down. It's still, I can feel it's still there. I don't think anybody else would think like, oh, wow, look at your belly. I know they wouldn't. Um, and by that afternoon, when we were going on the boat, I took pictures in the bikini, kind of angled myself, whatever. But I'm sharing this not to tell you, here's the moral of the story. Is just be aware of what works for you. Listen to your body. I was just curious about this. But I'm super grateful for the experience because first of all, it wasn't awful. It didn't ruin my trip. It could have. I think the old me, where I was a little more self-conscious about things, I would have been more bothered. Um, but it also showed me that I'm just not available for grains and bread ever. There's just no reason. Like it's not worth it to me. So I'm super grateful that it happened. And the message again here, I'm not telling you not to eat bread in Italy or here or anywhere you go, but I'm saying to pay attention to your body, to be aware of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And everybody will tell you, oh, in Europe it's so different. You can eat whatever you want. You're not going to gain weight. You're this, that, the other thing. And my weight is up a tiny bit. I think that is just the inflammation. With the level of activity that I had, and actually it wasn't like we were eating a ton of food. Like we weren't having really big meals. Portion sizes are very reasonable. And we would often get several appetizers. I think the last time we each had an entree, which again, they're not huge, and split an app. So like we weren't having huge meals. Um, the food is fabulous. The experience was fabulous. Everything, the views, the Mediterranean, every single thing was amazing. And I ate bread in Italy and sure as hell had a reaction. So I'm just sharing that, you know, just to, if you're currently grain free, to be forewarned that just because you're in Europe and the grains are a little different doesn't mean they're not going to bother you. And to backtrack for, because I don't always share that, so you don't know that much of my story, but I cut out grains. Oh, it's been well over 15 years now. But the grains, most of the grains that I was eating at that point were extremely as clean as you can get, some of them soaked and sprouted, and but they were just causing me too much. It had been going on for a long time. It wasn't until I got to the bottom of it. And I don't even do quinoa like that. Even I know that's completely gluten free and it's a seed, not a grain. Even that messes with me. So just sharing that, yes, I ate bread in Italy and my belly blew up like a hard little basketball. So end of story. Have an amazing day.